Business owner hate selling? Well, today we are talking about how you can feel confident in selling without feeling pushy and it just being something that feels entirely natural. Sarah here, aka the Business Fixer. So let's get started, shall we? Okay, so I know that some of you, when I've had conversations where even the word sales makes your stomach drop. And I promise you, you're not alone. There are many like it. Now, I know that it doesn't necessarily come naturally, and it's not what you believe in, it's not in, how can I word this? It's just not something that you feel is natural. You often think, whatever industry you're in, you don't describe yourself as a salesperson. You may well believe in what you do, but what you have done is you've tied the act of selling to something that is discomfort, awkward, or even shame. Now, you may well be in a situation where you're passionate about helping people, but that moment when you're about to talk about money or try and close the deal, you freeze up. Any of you resonate with that? This isn't necessarily a skills problem. It's often a mindset one. And until you switch that mindset, doesn't matter what script or sales technique you're given, it won't make a difference. Okay. So the one thing I want you to be clear on, selling confidence isn't about being slick. It's about being certain. Now, I talked last week in terms of about clarity and confidence there. This is where it all goes hand in hand, so that when, we talked about objection handling last week, when those objections come up, because you're confident in what you're offering, it then means that you can give that clarity. So the confidence is one of the fundamental things that you really need to make sure you work on. So sometimes when I speak to business owners, I will hear phrases like, I just hate selling, or it feels uncomfortable. I don't want to come across as pushy. Do any of those phrases resonate? What you're really saying is you don't feel confident in how you're showing up during the sales conversation. The truth is, if you're going to lack confidence when you're selling, you're unconsciously giving off hesitation. And what does hesitation mean? If you're giving that vibe off, it's going to be a no. It also means that you're unconsciously underplaying your value. Or sometimes what you do is you're rushing to close before you've really listened. And again, when there is no clarity, then you're going to get a no, which then knocks your confidence even more. Now, something I also want you to remember is there's two parts. If you get a no, it can sometimes mean a not now. But the other big part of a no is it means you are one further step to getting a yes. And I think often what happens is when we're in these sales situations and there is a prospect of a no, it knocks not only our confidence, but it feels like a rejection. And one of the things that we really have got to switch in your mind is that a no is not a rejection. Okay? Because if you take personally every time somebody says no to you, you are really going to struggle moving your business and moving the needle in your business. Sales is a fundamental part of your business. It all ties into, ultimately, you've got to have, a steady flow of leads. That steady flow of leads then needs to be converted, and that then comes into cash, and then it's the client delivery side. But if you aren't getting the steady flow of leads, or if you are, but you're not actually confident in converting, what then happens if you've got any part of that system that drops, it means you're going to be in a feast and famine cycle, which I can guarantee that if you are in a situation where you are up and down each month, there's no consistency, it's because one or more of those parts of the system is dropping, whether it's the lead flow, whether it's the conversion on the sales, whether it's the the client delivery side. That will then mean that your cash flow is going to be inconsistent and it's going to feel like a roller coaster. So let's at least try and get the selling part nailed. Okay, so what selling confidence actually really means. This isn't about being loud, pushy, or aggressive. It's not about having the gift of the gab either. Although I can be honest that you'll often hear that some of the salespeople, it sounds like they do have the gift of the gab because they know how to respond to objections. But some people, that is something that comes naturally to them. And there are others where they have just honed their skill. If you are one of those people that needs to hone the skill, then that's absolutely fine. It is doable, okay? What you need to really consider when it comes to selling confidence is it's about being grounded in the value of what you offer, knowing how to lead a sales conversation with clarity. That word clarity is coming back again, and trusting that the right people will say yes because you've given them a clear, confident reason to, right? So remember, sometimes the reason why you are getting a no is because you haven't actually given them a reason why they should say yes. You're not giving them that clarity, right? So it's a kind of quiet kind of confidence in that you know you can help them. Here's how you're going to help them. And let's talk about what that would look like. That's in essence what a sales conversation is. And if you don't feel like that, it doesn't mean you're not cut out for sales, because everybody who is a business owner, everybody who provides a service, you are a salesperson, whether you like it or not. You just don't think like you are, right? It just means you've potentially picked up some unhelpful beliefs that need to be challenged. And that is exactly what we are going to be dealing with today, because I want to make sure that you have got these limiting beliefs nailed, so that you are converting, you are getting those sales through the door. Okay, so let's talk about some of the most common mindset blocks that will kill that sales confidence, right? They're often unnoticed, but they shape how you show up in every sales conversation, right? So let's start with the first one. I don't want to come across as pushy. This is probably one of the most common mindset blocks business owners have. You're scared that being confident about your offer will make people uncomfortable. But being pushy isn't confidence. That's pressure. That's very different to what confidence is. Pushiness is trying to convince someone who isn't a good fit. Selling confidence is about clearly communicating the value of what you do to the right person so that they can make an informed decision. Being direct doesn't make you pushy, it makes you helpful, right? Now, I'm often talking about this right person. Now, the right person is because you have done the work on your ideal client, right? The amount of times I am banging on about your ideal client, because this comes into every single aspect of your business, okay? So if you know who your ideal client is, you know that when you're having a sales conversation, you know that they're going to actually be a right fit. In fact, you're going to have qualified them before they've even got into the sales conversation. So you know that they're a right fit. You know, if you feel like you're trying to persuade and push somebody into something, then I would question whether they are actually the right person for your offer, right? Next thing. I hate talking about money. Oh, this is one that is such a common one. The thing is, this one runs deep. If you were raised to believe that money was a taboo subject, or you've internalized the idea that profit should always come second to purpose, then talking about price will always feel uncomfortable, right? But here's the truth. Money is just an exchange of value. Listen to this one, right? It is an exchange of value. So if you have solved a problem, you've improved someone's life or business and been able to help them move forward, why shouldn't you be paid fairly for that? Think about that. Selling confidence means you're holding your price with calm certainty. This is not when you're rushing to discount just to avoid the discomfort, but this is where it comes back to the difference between knowing value and price. And ultimately, and I say this a lot, if you are speaking to your ideal client and you have actually shown the value in which you can provide, the price will not matter to your prospect. And people often think, well, price always matters. No, because if you're giving them the solution that they are so desperate for, they won't even blip at the price, but they will have reservations in the price if you are not confident in the fact that you believe your worth, in terms of actually when you're saying that figure to them and you are if you are making it obvious that you don't even believe that you're worth that value, that price, then how can you expect them to believe that you're worth it? You have to believe it in yourself. And there has to be that mindset shift so that you actually truly believe in your own worth. You have to feel comfortable in the number that you are saying to them because you believe you are worth that. Next one. What if they say no? Now, I covered this briefly above, like when we were talking earlier, but I still want to touch upon it here, right? This fear of rejection stops people in their tracks. You go into the conversation hoping for a yes, but you're bracing for a no. And that fear makes you over-explain, second guess, or play small. This is where the confidence really can be a game changer, right? But as I said earlier, no isn't personal. It just means it wasn't the right time, offer, or fit. And that is okay. You need to become okay with a no. The more you attach your self-worth to the outcome of a sale, the harder it will become to sell confidently. You have to detach from the outcome. Focus on the clarity. The right people will say yes for the right reasons. So again, when they're the right fit and you have got the right offer and you have explained your value and that they can truly see the transformation you are going to provide, they're not going to say no. They will say yes. The next one, this is a very common one. I'm not a natural salesperson. To be honest, most people aren't. And thankfully, as I said earlier, you don't have to be. Selling isn't a personality trait, it's a skill. It's a structured conversation with a purpose. And the thing is, when you truly believe that selling is only for a certain type of person, all you are going to do is hold yourself back. You're going to hold your business back, right? Now, remember this, you'll never feel ready. But once you realize it's something you can learn and you practice and you've got a process you can trust, your confidence will start to grow. Okay. This is something that I really, really want you to be thinking about here. Okay. Is stop thinking that you have to be a natural at it. It comes with practice, like with anything. You know, the amount of times I say, as a business owner, it is an entirely different skill set to run a business than it is to actually do what you are used to in your day job. Okay. And don't be afraid of that. Learn the new skills. That's why people like me exist. The next one, I need to prove myself first. No, This often shows up as over-delivering before someone's even committed. You give away too much. You keep helping without asking for a sale. This is one of the biggest things. You need to make the ask, because deep down, you feel like you need the right to earn the right to be paid. You feel like you need to earn the right to make the ask. No. Sales isn't about proving your worth. It's about helping someone solve a problem. It's about giving them a transformation. If they're sitting in a sales conversation with you, then they're already interested. They already have bought into you. Think of the phrase of know, like, and trust. Okay? They already know of you. They already like you to even be having that conversation. What you're doing in this sales conversation is you're now building the trust so that they then trust that you are the solution to their problem. You don't need to overcompensate. You just need to offer the solution and allow them to choose it. But remember to ask. So how do we go about building this selling confidence? Now that we've kind of started to clear those blocks, let's look at some practical steps. Now, number one, create a sales process you can trust. Now, a few weeks ago, I did a live where I actually gave you that process. So make sure that you go back and watch the video, or you can read the blog about it, whichever is your best format. But selling confidence does come from that clarity. So if you're winging every call, it's no wonder you're going to feel unsure, right? But by building that repeatable structure that walks your prospect through the conversation in a way that feels natural, not scripted, this gives you something solid to stand on every single time, okay? Next. Practice out loud. Now, this one may sound like a daft one, but the amount of times where we're actually like, if you're you're going to have to stand on stage or doing a presentation, you will often practice, okay? Confidence doesn't come from reading more content. It comes from doing, and like I said, practice. Practice makes perfect. Talk through your offer. Say your pricing out loud. And like I said earlier, you need to be comfortable with the price that you are saying out loud. So think about the tone that you are using. Does your tone sound confident, or is your tone sounding like that you're shirking away and that you don't believe you're worth it? Practice explaining what you do and why it matters. You don't want it to sound rehearsed, but it might just stop you making it up on the spot. Next, back yourself with facts. Create a folder of client results, testimonials, and wins. Review it regularly. It's easy to forget the impact you've had, especially when that self-doubt creeps in. And it creeps in with all of us, even us that are confident and already confident in selling. It still sometimes does creep in where we question whether we're good enough, right? Let those facts remind you you are. That's where the confidence lives. And I've touched upon this. Own your pricing without apology. Stop cushioning price with fillers like, oh, I know it's a lot. Oh, but I can be flexible. No, this is the price because this is the value in which you will provide. Right? Your price is based on value, not fear. And say it with a full stop, not a question mark. Okay? This is really, really important, because this is where the confidence really does kick in, and it will make a game-changing difference. Get support when it's deeper than strategy, right? Sometimes the mindset blocks don't just shift by reading alone, right? If you still feel stuck, if you know your process is solid, but the fear still keeps creeping in, then it's time to work with someone who can help you reset the way that you think about sales from the inside out. Mindset is something that I am a really, really big believer on. I'll often say that success is 80% mindset, 20% hard work, okay? And mindset shifting, whilst do not hold myself out to be a life coach or anything like that, but when I am working with clients, doing some of this mindset shifting is a key part of it. And it's something that underlines a lot of what I do, right? Now, this isn't about being better at sales. It's about feeling better about selling, right? Your sales will increase when you feel better about it. When you change the way you see sales, you change the way you show up in your business. If you stop dreading the conversation and you stop undercharging and you stop letting self-doubt call the shots, and instead you start speaking with clarity, offering with conviction, and leading people to a decision that's right for them and right for you, this is where the game changes. This is where things shift, right? This is your turning point. Selling confidence isn't about being someone else. It's about being you. Authenticity in business is so, so important. But if you are clearer, calmer, and more certain about the value you bring, that's where that selling confidence will start to really build and show, right? Now, if you are ready to start making some of these mindset shifts, if you are in a situation where you know that you believe in what you are trying to deliver, but you're having these mindset blocks, or that you are struggling with your process, or you are struggling with dealing with objections in sales, or there is any aspect in your business that is holding you back, then reach out, because this is exactly what I do. I want to help you. I want to help you create that business that works for you, not the other way around. And there are a number of ways in which you can reach out. If you just want to pop me a DM or comment the word sales, and then we can have a chat, we can do that. Now, something that you may also be interested in is, as of Monday, I start the 5-day business transformation challenge, and part of that challenge we will be covering the sales process. So there is an element of mindset that we also cover. So if that is something that you would be interested in, you should see the address coming across at the bottom. Join me on the challenge. It's completely free. There is going to be a whole heap of value that you are going to get from it, I promise. Make sure that you get yourself signed up. You know, if you're feeling that whole overwhelm and overworked, and you're feeling that real kind of feeling of being alone in your business, and you're kind of questioning what direction to go in, this challenge is for you. So make sure that you get yourself signed up and join us on Monday. And in the meantime, if you just want to have a chat about your sales, then just comment the word sales or send me a DM. Thanks, guys, for listening. I hope you've got some real value from today, and I will see you all